Hey, good afternoon. It's good to have you with us. We'll start with this, though. Nkosinathi Phakathi's case has been postponed to the 8th of November. Phakathi faced almost 150 charges, including rape, sexual assault and kidnapping. He's been linked to at least 93 rape cases, dating back to 2012. Phakathi pleaded guilty to most of the charges, with the National Prosecuting Authority dropping some minor charges in a plea deal. eNCA's Manqoba Mchunu is following those proceedings and joins us now from Palm Ridge Magistrates Court, sitting where the High Court was sitting for this particular matter. And Manqoba, no matter how many times you read the headline, you read the detail of the story, it never stops to be shocking. Tell me a bit more about this plea agreement, plea and sentencing agreement between the NPA and this man.
Well, Tulas, what we do know so far is that Nkosinathi Phakathi has pleaded guilty to 148 charges. And of course, of those 148 charges, 89 of them are charges of rape, 42 of kidnapping, and 6 of compelling a child to witness a sexual act, as well as 4 of compelled rape. Those are just some of the charges. Initially, recall to us that he was facing over 200 charges in total, but the state deciding to drop 55 of those charges, and he has now been basically pleaded guilty to a majority of those charges. And this is in relation to a crime spree that started back in 2012, where he had lured some of these women, most of them young school children. And in fact, during that plea statement that was read out in court today, we heard details, harrowing details of how he lured some of those school children. Some of them were, going home to fetch lunch, going home to fetch money, pocket money from their parents, and he will then lure them to a field where he'll then proceed to rape them. But that's not all. He also, in some instances, compelled some of the minors, the friends that were accompanying these young women, to actually also witness these sexual acts, but also in some instances to even partake in those sexual activities. So quite harrowing and shocking details that we heard from that plea bargain. Of course, he has pleaded guilty to most of these charges. But I want to bring in one of the gender activists here in court who was listening to this particular case. There were no families that were present here in court on neither of the victims, but these gender activists were there. Siswami, nizizwa kanjani ngento enzekile nenikuzwile nje namhlanje ecourt njengama-gender-based activist?
Namhlanje into esizwile ecourt beyibhlungu kakhulu because of lo Phakathi abantwana the most of victims wakhe, it was from the age of 9 years and then abanye it's 14 years, 13 years, 16 years. So angeke understand ukuthi how come ukuthi umuntu aza acabanga ukurape abantwana, and especially abantwana abancane. The way kungakhona ngifila ukuthi ushathe life yabantwana, like ubabulele ifeature yabo uyibulele so far, and angeke uzwazi ukuthi why bekayenza kaso.
So kama nina njengabantu akade belandela leli cala leli nicabanga nje kai?
Icala lakhe besiloko sililandela, but so far yena angakamboni ukuthi ufuna like upleadile guilty khona, but uplead kwakhe guilty angakaboni any remorse out of him ukuthi whatever that he was doing, like ukuthi uyafeel ukuthi into bekayenza ngempela uyafeel ukuthi wenza into embi. Uyabona, mhlambe mhlawumbe azama apologize to the family or families of the kids, I don't know, but ne apology nakhona angeke izisuse akukhose empilweni zabo, angeke izikususe.
So nifuna nina Siswami yini indindelo ukuyibona la inkantolo ukuthi yenzeke uma ke inkantolo mhlawumbe sikhipha ke isigwebo sayo la kuleli cala?
Mina bengathanda ukuthi ijustice yona mele iyenzakale, but angazi ukuthi ngathi ingaba kanjani, because bangamsentence whatever, bangamnikeza ama life noma ngaba 100 or bangamnika whatever, but into ayikhozile angeke izibuyise into ayenzile ebantwaneni, angeke izibuyise lokho ngoba yena uphilile guilty, but kuyafana, ngibona ngathi kuyafana nje, angiboni difference kulento ozabayi uphilile guilty but kuyafana, angiboni ukuthi difference izoyenza kulabantwana abamoshile, angeke iziyenze difference.
Kodwa ke njengoba sazi ukuthi kunale nkomfa ekhona i-gender based violence ekhona nenkinga vele yokubulawa kwabantu besimame kanye nezingane nokuhlunyezwa kweingane, nibona ngathi inkantolo fanele yenze isibonelo mhlambe kuleli cala njengaleli?
Ngibona kanjalo, kumele bayenze isibonelo ukuthi nawo nakabanye abasengaveli nabangasengasentenzwa babone ukuthi into abayenzayo akusikudlala ngoba abantu abaningi bazitshela ukuthi hayi ngizoya ejele ngizobuya kodwa kuleli mele babone ukuthi ijustice ikhona emhlabeni ikhona South Africa justice.
Okay, thank you very much for speaking to us this morning. That was one of the gender-based activists here, just saying that they were shocked by what they heard in court. Young children, to us as young as 9 years old. In fact, there was the youngest victim that was raped by Nkosinathi Phakathi. The other one was just 10 years old. And, you hear stories of how even 3-year-olds were made to watch some of these rape incidents. In one incident, I remember, Tulas, they spoke about the fact that Nkosinathi Phakathi had even forced a younger brother of one of the rape victims to tie her up while he then proceeded to rape her. And these are just some of the harrowing details that came out of that plea statement. Of course, the gender-based activist saying that it won't even be enough to send him to jail because people's lives have been destroyed. She says that they're hoping, of course, for the harshest sentence as far as this is concerned. That will be a deterrent to other, rapists not to commit such acts, such heinous acts against, especially those who are vulnerable in society. So we are expecting, of course, the judgment to be handed down next week.
Yeah, and so Manqoba, just on a related theme, the Presidential Summit on Gender-Based Violence and Femicide is happening at the same time, and part of the key focus there has been on accountability. Now, I know this is a plea and sentencing agreement that has been reached between Phakathi and the NPA, but does it give a glimpse into how it is, Manqoba, that this man could perpetrate this reign of terror for 9 years? How is it even possible that a person could commit 148 sexual crimes in a specific geographic area and not be caught for 9 years and not be brought to book? It just seems extraordinary.
And I can tell you, Tulas, that that's a question that many here are asking themselves. It's a question that continues to baffle, especially gender-based violence activists that are here in court, who are really questioning, police as far as they are concerned in trying to deal with some of these issues. Of course, they are saying that police have failed gender-based violence victims. And of course, this goes to the very heart of that issue, just how well are police servicing communities? How well are they responding to some of these crimes? Because it really baffles one when you think, Tulas, that for 9 years this man was undetected, and in fact it was only caught, after he was, had gone to, I would say, a second sort of modus operandi in terms of his activities, because we know that when he started back in 2012, he used to target young children, but then he moved to target older women. So he'll pose as a municipal worker and go into some of these homes and pretend that he's coming to read a meter in those homes, and that's where he'll then rape these women. He also act as somebody who was looking for a job, but it's just baffling to us how he was undetected for such a long time. And that speaks exactly to how our law enforcement has been dealing with such cases. Of course, there are calls for harsher sentences, there are calls for stricter penalties as far as this is concerned, but of course that will remain to be seen as to how coming out of that conference as well, some of the commitments that will be made to try and deal with this particular scourge.